Tonight on Citrus TV News, following an outbreak of measles in Rockland County, children will be required to be vaccinated. Find out how parents are reacting.
And Facebook faces a new controversy regarding its policies. This time, the challenge comes from the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
It was quite nice and sunny out today. I'll let you know if that's going to stick around for the weekend. In my full weather forecast, Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Syracuse University Student Association President Gufran Sully announced the organization's presidential debate for next Monday. Good evening, I'm Zach Lang.
And I'm Gilat. Melamed. 3 campaigns have declared candidacy. The debate will take place in Huntington Beard-Krause Auditorium.
Today continued a warm weather trend in Syracuse as we approach the end of March. Hopefully snow will soon be a distant memory. Our weather anchor Adam Sperling is at Shine Student Center to find some sun, but Adam, I'm not sure you found it.
That's right. I certainly haven't found any snow, but thankfully I haven't found any rain either. Tonight is probably one of the best nights that I could have come out here and done this. It's in the low 50s, the wind is not too bothersome, and it's dry, at least for now. If we look at tonight, we are going to be seeing some rain. We're going to be seeing scattered showers, and the temperature will be hovering just about 40 degrees. Now, if we take a quick look at tomorrow, we're going to be seeing rain all throughout the day. Temperatures are going to start at about 42, get up to about 46 by the late afternoon. That's going to be your high for the day. Now, in my full weather forecast, I'll have my weekend predictions. Zach, Gilat, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Adam. We'll see you back inside soon for the rest of this week's weather.
New at 6 tonight, Syracuse University is rolling ahead with its updates to campus safety following complaints from students last month. The deadline to nominate individuals for the Student of Color Advisory Committee is now next Tuesday. Students on the committee will collaborate with DPS to provide feedback on safety issues. DPS also published the map of its jurisdiction on campus. It may only exercise law enforcement authority while actually on duty. Lastly, DPS is beginning a new late-night shuttle service in off-campus neighborhoods named Shuttle 44. And Syracuse University Ambulance, or SUA, will offer training for students, faculty, and staff in April. The sessions, called Stop the Bleed, will teach participants how to stop life-threatening bleeding. Stop the Bleed is a national campaign created by the White House in 2015. The 2 sessions will be held in Lyman Hall on April 8th and 23rd at 4 p.m. And SU is hosting a discussion on faith and its impact on relationship and sexual violence. It's the 3rd discussion of the Interfaith Dialogue Dinner Series. The discussion began minutes ago in the Noble Room of Hendricks Chapel and goes until 8 p.m. Tonight's session talks about how centers of faith contribute to sexual and relationship violence. Hendricks was partnered with Vera House to address these serious topics. And also tonight, the SU Muslim Students Association will be hosting a panel on Islamophobia at 6:30 in Maxwell Auditorium. The panel is open to the public and will address personal struggles young Muslims in the U.S. face following the terrorist attack in New Zealand earlier this month. This event is in partnership with Hendricks Chapel and the Remembrance Scholars.
While the Syracuse weather is not for everyone, there are some things that thrive in fluctuating climate, and it's getting celebrated this weekend. Our reporter Lilia Wood has more.
What's the most popular thing on tap in Syracuse during this time of year?
I mean, those weather changes, they actually creates the perfect environment.
No, it's not what you're probably thinking. It's maple syrup season. The maple trees thrive during the period right after winter when there's cold nights and warm days. At least that's what Mike Spicer told us, a sophomore at Hamilton College who has a passion for producing maple syrup.
Because, you know, it's only a couple months out of the year, but it's a crazy couple months. I just love the challenge of it, I think.
He found out that the Cedar Vale Maple Syrup Company, a business opened for over 40 years, was not going to produce syrup anymore. So he asked the owner if he could help out.
He wasn't like a lot of producers where maybe they'll start with buckets or they were kind of born into making syrup. He went full go with tubing and everything, and built this place up.
And if you could only smell this place, out here in the woods, they tap over 1,200 trees every season.
You know, it's Mother Nature is ultimately the one that's calling the shots in this business, and I have no control over that.
The company is participating in New York's Maple Weekends, and they hope to have hundreds of visitors for tours, tree tapping, and demonstrations. Lilia Wood, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Lilia. The other local maple farms participating in Maple Weekend include Dutch Hill Maple, Pied Piper's Maple Products, and Crit's Farm.
New details coming out of Albany. The New York Attorney General is filing a lawsuit against the Sackler family manufacturers. The lawsuit alleges that the family's actions, including drug manufacturers and distributors, were the main cause of New York's opioid epidemic. Attorney General Letitia James says the epidemic devastated families and communities across the state. The official statement says more than 3,000 people died in 2017 from opioid overdoses and that the number of prescriptions for opioid drugs quadrupled.
And as the lawsuits have piled up against the Sackler family and Purdue for their roles in this crisis, they continue to move funds into trust and, yes, offshore accounts to be out of the reach of any potential recovery or out of the reach of the long arm of government.
A Cortland County man will face 25 years to life in prison after he was convicted for the murder of a 2-year-old girl. Dorian Bond received his sentence today after he was found guilty of killing Cassidy Danes last year. Bond was babysitting Danes on the night of the murder, and the prosecutor said Bond was angry at having to babysit the girl during the trial. He plans to file an appeal. And an Adirondacks resort employee will be sentenced today in a sexual assault case that lasted 2 years. The incident occurred in 2016 when a camp security guard lured the then 19-year-old victim into a cottage and sexually assaulted her. The court found the 46-year-old assaulter Eric Kenny guilty of first-degree rape last month.
Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a bill Wednesday regarding a panel to investigate prosecutorial misconduct. Prosecutors have challenged this law in the past, claiming it gives government too much power over elected officials. A more invasive version of this law was rejected just last year. While the law was changed, New York district attorneys still feel it is unconstitutional. And after a state of emergency was announced Tuesday night, some parents in Rockland County are finally deciding to vaccinate their children. The state of emergency requires all students who attend public schools in the county to receive their measles vaccination or not attend school. Rockland County has been battling a measles outbreak since last fall. More than 150 children have been infected by the outbreak.
Coming up, Facebook is facing new charges. Find out who's charging the social media giant and what role advertisements have in this case.
And the competition for the Venezuelan presidency has taken a turn. Find out which politician is barred from office and the effect it has on the United States.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back. Facebook is facing charges for violating the Fair Housing Act.
The Department of Housing and Urban Development says Facebook allows advertisers to restrict who can view housing ads. The restriction is based on identity markers like race and religion.
Federal housing officials say the charges go farther than Facebook's platform. Facebook's leaders say they are surprised and disappointed by the charges.
Today, Minnesota Senator presidential hopeful Amy Klobuchar announced a $1 trillion infrastructure plan that would go into place should she be elected.
The plan calls for investment in public schools, renewable energy, and broadband connection, to name a few. Klobuchar would use a series of corporate tax reforms to pay for the plan.
So far, 14 Democratic candidates have entered the running for president in 2020.
And senior advisor and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner met with the Senate Intelligence Committee for an interview earlier today.
This meeting took place just days after Attorney General Barr released a Russia investigation summary. It claimed the Trump campaign did not coordinate with Russia during the 2016 election.
This isn't Kushner's first time being interviewed. He also appeared before the panel in 2017.
And President Trump has spearheaded a new push to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Trump's latest policy effort comes on the heels of a Justice Department decision to invalidate the Affordable Care Act.
Here to tell us about the president's latest policy initiative is CitrusTV political analyst Michael Furnari.
Monday, the Department of Justice sided with a district court ruling that found the Affordable Care Act unconstitutional. The court and the DOJ argued that the law is unconstitutional due to its individual mandate and protections for pre-existing conditions. Now, President Trump is leading an assault on Obamacare on all fronts. Take a listen to what he had to say yesterday.
So we're coming up with plans. We have a lawsuit right now going where phase one of the lawsuit terminates Obamacare, essentially terminates Obamacare. You know that's the Texas lawsuit. We think it'll be upheld, and we think it'll do very well in the Supreme Court.
Ever since it was made law in 2010, the Affordable Care Act has received challenges from both the courts and Congress. Most recently in 2017, when a Republican health care bill was shot down on the Senate floor. Solutions to Obamacare have largely faltered because most replacements would risk taking roughly 20 million people off of their health care plans. This week, President Trump said that Republicans will soon be known as the Party of Health Care. Apparently, the latest news is a surprise to congressional Republicans, who had reportedly received no word that President Trump would be spearheading a renewed effort on the issue. Once again, Republican lawmakers will head back to the drawing board to replace a bill that most Republicans have denounced, but few have been able to offer an alternative to. There is no word on when a new Republican proposal will be ready, but for now, expect another long battle over the nation's health care. Zach and Gilat, back to you.
Thanks, Michael. The latest in Venezuela's political crisis. Self-declared interim President Juan Guaido is banned from holding public office for 15 years.
This is the maximum amount of time someone can be barred from office. The Venezuelan government says there were issues with his personal financial statements. Guaido declared himself president over Nicolas Maduro after the country's January election.
The opposition leader is backed by the Trump administration and over 60 other countries. A Russian national guilty of conspiracy will be sentenced next month. Marina Butina pleaded guilty last year and has been in jail since her arrest in 2018.
She'll be sentenced for attempting to infiltrate GOP politics and influence relations with Russia. While the special counsel's team questioned her in January, she didn't appear to be important to the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
Her sentencing is set for April 26th.
And coming up, you saw Adam Sperling outside, and now he'll be back with us to tell us when the sun's going to come back.
Your full weather forecast after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the parents kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I preferred the temperature outside in Syracuse to the temperature inside the studio right now. It's about 55 degrees outside right now. You can expect some rain tonight, but enjoy the sun, or at least the clouds, for now. Let's take a look at my weekend predictions. And we are going to be seeing Friday, high of 46, low of 40, with some morning showers and low winds. Saturday is going to be 62 degrees. I'm really excited for that. Unfortunately, it's going to be raining. That's going to rain on my parade at least. Low of 33. Raining morning, dry afternoon, warm. Early morning Sunday, it's going to be a high of 38 degrees, low of 25. We're going to be seeing some winds. Now stay tuned. I'll be back with my 5-day forecast for next week.
Thanks, Adam. This month brings the beginning of spring, and for many teenagers, a night to remember. Citrus TV reporter Leonza Reyes tells us how one local store has been preparing.
Prom night. The night of nights for many high school students is coming. Mother Melissa McConnell's first stop.
It's very pretty. I like the color.
Is here at Boom Babies, where her 17-year-old Cassidy is searching for the perfect fit for senior prom.
We came here last year and she had a good experience. We went to other places and she really liked it here. So we figured it's easier to just come back.
It's going to take a lot to find a dress, but Boom Baby staff is always here to help. Staff member Brittany Oliveira is used to the rush for girls to find their dream dress.
On Saturdays we can have over 40 people waiting to get into fitting rooms, plus their mother, their grandmother, their little brother, a stroller.
Now, Boom Babies began in 1986 as an alternative clothing store. However, now it seems to have become a one-stop shop for prom dresses.
Oliveira says that they see plenty of customers, but not just from the central New York area.
So we do get a lot of people from Canada, all over the states as well. I mean, they travel from 3-4 hours away for the most part.
And while she is always on her feet, it's going to take a while before the rush slows down.
It's really, really heavy through February, March, April, May, June. It's still very busy. Like spring break is very busy, but it slows down towards May, June time.
And it might take a little longer before every girl, including Cassidy, finds her dress.
If she can't find a dress here, I'm sure she's not going to find one anywhere.
Leonza Reyes, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Leonza. And while I've been off the market for a prom dress for a few years now, it's nice to know where anyone can go if they need to look like the belle of the ball.
I've also been off the prom dress market for quite a few years, but coming up in sports, we'll take you inside the Carrier Dome to see how the women's lacrosse team fared against Albany, plus a recap of the softball team's doubleheader against Niagara, along with results from opening day in Major League Baseball and a preview of tonight's March Madness games. Stick with us.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
I-81. Its lifespan ended more than 2 years ago, and with time running out, there is no concrete plan. These are the crossroads splitting the city and the region. The community grid.
To save my city and my neighborhood and my kids' lives.
Replacing the viaduct.
Commercial businesses which want to be located alongside a highway.
And building a tunnel.
We really need to rebuild the fabric of the city.
Businesses, residents, and money. The issue gets more complex as time runs out. But Citrus TV News has you covered. Our 7-part series will break down the most important aspects of the decision. Starting Monday, April 1st, we will be tackling the biggest decision facing Central New York.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
The SU women's lacrosse team was in action last night, looking to improve to 11-2 on the season. Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Luke McGrath with sports. After playing at Christian Brothers Academy over the weekend, the women's lacrosse team was back in the Dome taking on in-state rival Albany Wednesday night. Let's take a look at how it all shook out. The SU women getting warmed up in the Carrier Dome. Katie Rowan, the head coach in her first year for UAlbany. She's the all-time point leader for Syracuse, but it was all orange early. The junior Emily Harris-Chuck gets to the rack and scores. That'd be her lone goal of the game, giving SU a 3-1 lead. And then Harris-Chuck finds senior attacker Nicole Levy, who buries it top left. She would end up having a season-high 4 goals on the night. That one gave SU a 4-1 lead. And then the Megan freshman connection here. Megan Carney finds Megan Tyrell for the goal, giving SU a 7-1 lead, capping off a 6-0 run. And then towards the end of the first half here, Levy finds Julie Cross for the goal. This just before halftime. She finished with a season-high 5 points and gave SU an 11-3 lead at the half. They went on to win 19-7. That's the most goals they've scored in a game, getting those goals from 11 different players. And senior Nicole Levy said it was just such a privilege to have so much depth.
I think it's pretty typical. I mean, with the talent that we have and the depth that we have, it's no shock that it's that many people that are getting on the board. And honestly, those are the teams that are championship caliber teams, so that's really exciting.
After 28 straight road games to start the season, the SU softball team finally made its home opener Wednesday. I guess that's softball in Central New York for you. But the season debut at Skytop Stadium proved to be successful as the Orange swept Niagara in a doubleheader. In the first game, junior Alexa Romero dominated in the 5-inning battle, going the distance, allowing 2 earned runs and striking out 10 in the 12-4 victory. In the second game, things were a little closer, but it was Romero who once again took center stage, coming back into the game to get the final out and the save in the 7-5 victory. After the game, she said she knows when her coaches are going to call on her in the big moments.
I kind of can read my coaches, like kind of know when they're like, all right, it's go time. So I just like make sure that I'm still like ready and warmed, and I know that if there's a situation that's going to come up that are going to put me in, then I'll be ready.
It's opening day in the MLB, arguably the best day of the year for baseball fans, as all 30 teams are in action at some point today, with both New York teams already having secured their first victories of the year. For the Yankees, it was smooth sailing, taking down the Orioles 7-2, with Luke Voigt setting the tone early, ripping a 3-run homer in the first inning, complemented by a solid outing from Masahiro Tanaka, helping the Bombers win comfortably, and the three-headed monster in the bullpen of Adam Ottavino, Zach Britton, and Aroldis Chapman closed out the final 3 innings in dominant fashion for the Yanks. And for the new-look Mets, things were a little bit closer, but fresh faces ultimately shined, with former Yankee Robinson Cano crushing an opposite-field homer in his first at-bat with his new New York squad. Cano also singled the other Mets run home in the 2-0 victory over the Nationals. Defending Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom won out in a pitcher's duel against Cy Young runner-up Max Scherzer. deGrom went 6 innings with 10 Ks, and the 2 aces combined for 22 strikeouts. And the NCAA men's tournament picks back up tonight with Sweet 16 action. In the early games, it's the 4-seeded Florida State Seminoles taking on 1-seed Gonzaga and 3-seed Purdue taking on 2-seed Tennessee. In the later slate, 3-seed Texas Tech squares up against 2-seed Michigan, and the lone remaining Cinderella team in 12-seed Oregon is a tall task squaring up against 1-seed Virginia in what is shaping up to be quite a defensive battle.
Now, Luke, those games really good ones, but that Texas Tech-Michigan battle, I'm kind of stuck rooting for Michigan, but who do you got in this one?
Well, I'm certainly rooting for Michigan for personal reasons, survivor pool and things like that, but I do think that's going to be a defensive battle, but ultimately, I think Michigan does prevail on that one. It's going to be a close one, I think.
I mean, it was a great opening day for me. Yankees got a really nice win. But did you have a personal highlight from watching today's games?
Yeah, I mean, it's been loaded so far. I mean, we had Jordan Zimmerman go 6 2/3 of a perfect game for the Tigers. Unfortunately, that was just broken up. We had Robinson Cano, as I mentioned, homered in his first at-bat as a Met. That was an incredible scene as well. And then a Brewers outfielder just robbed a home run with what would have been game-tying home run to end the game. So there's been a lot of action already.
Certainly a great day in sports. Thanks, Luke.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back, Adam. Now, I know earlier you were saying we might see some early morning snow on Sunday. Is that going to be the last of the season?
Hopefully, yes. I'm going to tentatively say it is, but that's the thing. Last week, I sort of said this week might be the last snow, so you can never be too sure.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, and we have the 5-day forecast up here. And Friday's going to be rainy. The rest of the week, we're going to have some sun. Thursday is the high.
All right. Thanks, Adam. And the Olympic Games may be expanding.
Yeah, the International Olympic Committee is debating on including 4 new sports at the 2024 Paris Games, trying to appeal to a younger generation. This includes breakdancing, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing.
These sports will be included on a trial basis, with a final decision being made after next year's games. Now, Luke, you're a sports guy. You think you could go out and compete there in Olympic breakdance?
Well, this is all news to me, but I was in Costa Rica over spring break, and I really was crushing those waves, high tide and everything, so maybe I got a shot, who knows.
But you avoided the question. What about breakdancing?
I'm going to have to probably say no, but you never know. Got a dream.
I mean, so this has me thinking, Luke, you're the expert here. What counts as a sport? I mean, is surfing, I mean, I don't know how you're surfing in Paris for starters, but I guess what do you count as a sport?
Did I say Paris? I meant to say Costa Rica, but I mean...
Well, Paris, when they have the games in Paris,
oh, right.
they'll be
yeah,
surfing
of course. Yeah, that'll certainly be something they'll have to overcome. Breakdancing, I mean, I think that's definitely a sport. My definition of a sport is pretty loose.
That looks like a sport to me.
I mean, I'm a golfer. People say that's not a sport, and I think it is, so my definition of a sport is pretty loose, but you know, I think breakdancing and surfing certainly count as well.
Golf is 100% a sport. Now, that's all the time we have for you tonight on Citrus TV News. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook at Citrus TV News.
Follow us on Twitter and all that and more, like you said, Zach. For Zach Lang, Luke McGrath, I'm Gilat Melamed. Have a great night, Syracuse.